Coverage of the TSB Community Trust Series is proudly brought to you by Vantage Windows and Doors, principal partner of Hockey New Zealand. Computer Concepts Limited. Ford New Zealand. Lotto Sports. And Hockey New Zealand. Live from Stratford, it's the Vantage Blacksticks versus Japan.
Good evening and welcome into the TET Multisports Centre in Stratford, Taranaki for Game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series between the Vantage New Zealand Blacksticks and Samurai Japan. The series locked at 1 apiece. Japan taking the opener on Thursday night, 2-1. The Vantage New Zealand Blacksticks hitting back on Saturday, 6-3 they took it. Game 3 of 4 to come tonight. I'm Brenton Vanessa Roy. I will have the call for you here on Sky Sport 9 along with the New Zealand Hockey Facebook page and our YouTube channel as well. But without any further delay, let's go sideline to Will Johnston.
How are you? It's very wet down here at the TT Multi-Sports Centre in Stratford. My name's Will Johnston, joined by Siegfried Aikman, who is the coach of Japan. What's the mindset heading in today?
Well, we always play to win, so that's what we want to do today as well.
Any changes ahead of the game today?
Yes, we have 2 injured players. Krista, who was injured in the panty corner, and Yuma Nagai, who twisted his ankle. And we have Yamashita, number 13, our normal captain, who joins us today.
Excellent. All the very best today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we've just got Glenn Turner, the assistant coach of the Vantage Blacksticks, heading down the sideline now. He's just finished the warm-up with the team, and he's making his way to us. And Glenn, hey, thanks very much for your time.
No worries at all.
Great performance on Saturday. Obviously, you'll be looking to replicate that today.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard after a good performance like that to come and replicate it, but if we do the right things, play simple hockey, different weather today as well, so that's always a challenge, but boys are looking confident, so you never know till the start of the game day.
Excellent. Very best. All the very best. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cheers. Well, hopefully this weather stays away. Back up to you guys in the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Will. Will Johnson, sideline, and up here with myself in the commentary position, Brenton Vanessa Roy, joined by former Blackstick Chris Arthur. A very good evening to you, Chris, back in your hometown.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
As we see the two teams about to line up, we'll obviously have the anthems, and there'll also be a moment's silence as well to honour those victims of the typhoon over in Japan over the weekend as well. But as I mentioned, Game 3 of 4, these crucial matches for the New Zealand team as they build up to their Olympic qualifying series against South Korea here in Stratford at the start of next month. And facing an opposition like Japan, Chris, South Korea, similar kind of opponents, perfect preparation for New Zealand.
Absolutely. This is just what they need going into that Olympic qualifier, and really, really important that they put some performances together they can be proud of.
And we see our volunteers as well being honoured, the ball kids, and also those who are there for the national anthems, as the two teams make their way out onto the field, led out by the umpires for today, David Tomlinson and Hideki Kinoshita of New Zealand and Japan respectively. And those two Japanese sides, as mentioned by the Japan coach, Manabu Yamashita, back, the usual captain for Japan, but Genki Mitani will continue to lead Japan. And of course for New Zealand, Blair Tarrant, their captain, number 22. As the players led out onto the field, and we now await the formalities. The national anthems here from the TT Multisports Centre in Stratford, Taranaki, and also, as I mentioned, a moment's silence will be held to honour those victims of the typhoon over the weekend. And it's good to see so many of the locals braving the weather conditions as well. It's not the best, although the rain has stopped. As we will now stand for a moment's silence for the victims of the typhoon over the weekend.
Thank you. Would you please remain standing for the national anthem of Japan?
And now the national anthem of Japan. The Japanese national anthem, and we saw what the Japanese rugby team did at the World Cup last night to honour those victims of the typhoon. We'll see what Japan do too as we now stand for the New Zealand anthem. The New Zealand anthem here at the TET Multisports Centre in Stratford, Taranaki, as the stage is now set for Game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series between the Vantage New Zealand Black Sticks and Samurai Japan. All square at 1 apiece this series. The Japanese taking the opener 2-1 on Thursday night. New Zealand hitting back with a resounding 6-3 victory on Saturday afternoon. And as you can probably see, the rain has stopped. The conditions are cleared. It was pouring down, Chris Arthur, beforehand, but looks like pretty decent conditions now for some international hockey.
Absolutely great conditions, and the boys will be really excited to get stuck in tonight.
And most importantly, good for the fans as well. The ponchos are still on, but they'll be able to take them off shortly once they've all warmed up and dried off. As we can see, the Japanese side in front of us, and Mitani will captain them. But the big name back is Manabu Yamashita, who's just arrived in the country from over in Australia. Played over 180 games for Japan. A key player, midfielder, a real creative force for this Japanese side. So look out for him, number 13. And the New Zealand players just coming out from their huddle, and the New Zealand lineup as well. You'll see some very familiar faces, and great to see the likes of Simon Child back in the New Zealand side, joining his brother Marcus. Richard Joyce going to be starting in goal for New Zealand tonight. George Ennison will be backing him up. Leon Hayward won't be featuring tonight. The former Kookaburras goalkeeper, now New Zealand goalkeeper, who featured at the weekend, but vast amount of experience. You saw on the bench there, Shea McAleese, 300 games now for New Zealand. One of just 4 players to have done that for the men's Black Sticks. A great honour. And these players have a lot to play for as we build up to this Olympic qualifying series against South Korea.
Yeah, it's really exciting to have all our top players available and ready for this Olympic qualifier. So, really important these build-up games go well for them.
Hope you are settled in and ready for this one. Game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series. Black Sticks getting us underway. They will play from left to right. Japan defending from right to left to start with. As New Zealand going into that pocket, working onto the edge of the circle, trying to have that first penetration of the game and start just like they did the other day on Saturday afternoon when they scored within the opening seconds of that one. Just a wayward pass, not quite finding the New Zealand stick as they tried to switch play from that left-hand side to the right. Now Japan will have a chance to have that ball at their stick. Yamashita waits, number 13 for Japan, and he'll get the ball deep now, playing in a defensive role to start this game. That midfielder for Japan. Now they look with the long, direct method. Work down that touchline there, trying to find the reverse pass down the line. Just awry. And Japan back with it. Deep inside their 25-yard zone, though.
Really good pressure over there on the sideline to get the ball back.
Yeah, the press qualified for the Olympics. But for New Zealand, it's a very important build-up series. And we all know how desperate players are to play at the Olympics. We're lucky enough to have Chris Arthur beside me, who's played in a couple of them.
Yeah, I certainly have, but I'm just watching the players out here and very impressed with their high ball going right to the stick. And here we go.
Good interception by Kane Russell. Can he penetrate into the circle? Yes, he can. Gets to that byline, cuts it back.
Yep.
Keeper saves it. Well, it just goes wide. So good work by New Zealand. Kane Russell, we see a replay of this one. It came from the intercept, didn't it, firstly? Then he got to that baseline looking for that stick there. I think it was Stephen Jennison it was. Came off him, but a ricochet off him and away. So Japan survived that first attacking raid by New Zealand, but then they turn it over again. It's that man Jennison making his way into the circle. This time he gives up the free hit. But again, the press from New Zealand causing Japan early problems.
Yeah, and they're real accurate with their high ball tonight, which is great to see because when it works, it's pretty powerful attacking.
Yeah, it's a real feature of men's hockey, isn't it, at the top level? It's certainly coming into the women's game more and more, that's for sure. But the top men's sides, very good with the aerial plays, the overheads.
And this Kane Russell on the ball, he's a very skilled player out there on the right.
New Zealand now on a patient build-up from inside their own half. There's the veteran player, Shane McAleese back there. Now they come over the centre line to another player who's played more than 250 games for New Zealand, Simon Charlie. Lost it momentarily, but only as far back as Tarrant. Now McAleese changes the point of attack to Russell. And now it's going to come back to Russell as he quite wasn't able to find his pass, the intended target. Now coming across this left-hand side. Nice quick ball movement by the New Zealand Black Sticks as they try and penetrate through this renowned Japanese defence. Now they work down the left-hand side, more space again. Simon Child, he'll cut it back. Good stick with his brother Marcus. Marcus can he get the shot on goal. Still at the stick of Marcus Child, but then lose it. Good work by Japan, who had 3 players surrounding Marcus Child. A good combination, though, by the Child brothers. It certainly are. That's a promising sign. Certainly a vast improvement from what we saw in Game 1 for New Zealand when they went down to Japan, and a disappointing performance. Hit straight back in game number 2. Goals in the opening seconds of that one to eventually set up a 6-3 victory. New Zealand monopolising possession early in this one. Switching the point of attack from side to side, trying to find an opening. New Zealand willing to be patient. The full press isn't coming from Japan. They're just inside their half. As soon as New Zealand cross into their half, that's when they harass. Otherwise, they just sit back. They're happy for New Zealand to come into their half. And that's when they put on a bit of pressure. Now Japan going all the way back inside their circle. Now they've got to be careful here because this is where New Zealand will put on a bit more of a press. Japan struggling to find a way out at the moment. They have to go back inside their 25-yard zone. Now Japan finding a bit of space down that right-hand side, but not quite able to find the stick over the halfway. So it'll be back to the stick of New Zealand. Already 5 minutes has raced by here in this game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series from the TET Multisport Centre in Stratford, Taranaki. Game 4 tomorrow night here on Sky Sport 9, as well as Black Sticks Facebook and our YouTube channels. Brenton Vinasroy with you in commentary, along with former Black Stick Chris Arthur. 1984 and 1992 Olympian. These Black Sticks trying to get to the Tokyo Games. There's Japan now finding a chance inside the New Zealand 25. They come back to find a bit more space, and then a wayward pass. Not much pressure on there, but good work by New Zealand. They forced the turnover. Stephen Jennis involved there, and he quickly plays on. Now they'll switch the play. Marcus Child between the legs. Bit of flair.
I think he was looking to sub.
I think he's certainly gone off. That's enough for me. Not a bad way to leave the game, though. There's now a few changes for New Zealand as Nick Woods enters the game, number 17. It was just on the ball earlier. Now switch to this left-hand side. Also Dane Lett coming in. Feature of hockey, of course. Rolling subs. Very fast, frenetic game, especially since the introduction of the 4 quarters of 15 minutes. Only got faster the game.
And here's George Muir. They're creating 2-on-1. Oh, not quite.
They couldn't quite find a teammate. It was a good interception by Muir. As New Zealand looked to pour numbers forward into that Japanese circle, but Japan did good to clear the danger first time round.
Not a very tidy tackle there. They'll just set up again.
Yeah, Japanese player limping. And Simon Child, just veteran play there. I don't know if a rookie player would have got away with that, but when you paid 276 internationals.
I'm sure it was an accident. He was just showing him where to take the hit.
And the play continues. New Zealand back with it now. As New Zealand look to get back inside that defensive zone of Japan, but there was a bit of a wayward pass by New Zealand. They did come up with the interception straight away. Now Woods with a bit of space. He's going to go back though with even more, and now New Zealand can switch it over to this right hand side where Lett is. Dane Lett. All the way back. Now at halfway where Stephen Jennis finds a bit of space.
Nice
Good.
bit of stick work.
Yeah, lovely stick work. Now
ball through.
Opening up space to the Lett. Does he find a ball? Can he find a teammate? No, he can't. Japan easily trap that one. Clear their lines, but only momentarily. Still inside their half of Japan. And now trying to work into this right-hand pocket with New Zealand. Simon Child not able to quite control that, but off a Japanese stick, so it remains New Zealand possession.
Well, it's a great turn from Jared.
Lovely little turn from Jared
Nice
Panchia.
ball through.
Almost a brilliant ball. You could see exactly what he was doing there, couldn't you, Chris?
You could, yeah. He just didn't quite connect, but it would have been great.
Trying to slide that through. The player making the run towards the back post. But well, read by Japan. You've got to give them credit there. They defended well. Saw the danger. I think it might have been experienced player and Manabu Yamashita, who has the ball at his stick now. And in fact, that is Ohashi, number 20. Now coming over to this side, and Yamada. And to Oyashi. And now over to this right-hand side for Japan. They look to find a ball through, but it's a congested area. New Zealand's got the numbers back there defensively, making it hard for Japan to find a passing alley, but there's a wayward pass. Opportunity here for Japan. Can they pounce? Pinball in the circle.
Oh, it's a penalty
and it's a penalty corner. So that was poor error that time by Aaron Panchia. Very rare mistake from a player of his experience. Got careless with the ball. Gave Japan an opportunity. In the end, lucky to only concede a penalty corner.
Yeah, putting a back pass there was a little bit dangerous, and I'm sure the defence will be up to it, though. Got Joyce in the goal. He's a pretty good goalkeeper.
Yeah, big goalkeeper as well. It's the way they are built these days. They get bigger and bigger, it seems, the international goalkeepers really filling up those goals. So Japan, 10 minutes in here, have the first PC of the game. What can their battery come up with? Got a few options. They've scored a few PCs already in this series. Scored 5 goals of their own, so they're pretty handy from penalty corner time. This one, well,
great running from
blocked,
Muir.
but it's going to be another
Yep.
penalty corner. But yeah, Muir, one of the runners for New Zealand, getting out there and stopping that from being a shot on goal. And first line of defence, successful for New Zealand, but it's going to be another penalty corner. See what they come up with here. So number 29, Zindana, he scored 2 goals. Scored 2 goals on Saturday from drag flicks. Hilatoki Zindana.
Certainly lined up there for another drag flick.
Yeah, he's certainly one of the options. They'll have a couple. Will it be Zindana, number 29? Yes, it will be. And he's going to that far post, and it's just wide. So New Zealand defend that one again. Well done.
Must have come off a New Zealand stick.
Yeah, it's deemed to be off a New Zealand stick because Japan have possession still. So there's a shot across the bows, well defended by New Zealand. They got to stick to it. So 2 penalty corners defended in this opening period. So New Zealand have had a bit of possession and more circle penetrations, giving away a couple of penalty corners, and they won't want to do that too often. Now Japan penetrating into the circle. Japan, great shot coming in there, and that was dangerous for Richard Joyce in the New Zealand goal.
Yeah, when they have got in, they have looked dangerous, but that's for sure.
Yeah, Joyce will be relieved of that one. It came in with quite some power. Well controlled by Japan as the ball popped up. Just trying to go to that far post. Japanese player just wide. Needs to be off a New Zealand stick again, so Japan had possession, but now New Zealand win it back and they'll look quickly break. Well cut up by Japan though. And now the captain, Mitani, will change the point of attack. Yeah, great vision by that skipper. And now making their way inside the circle.
Just outside, I think.
Yeah, trying to find a foot, and did find a foot, but it was outside the circle, so no penalty corner, just a free hit for Japan. As we quickly approach quarter time here. And game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series. Pleasure to bring you this coverage here on Sky Sports 9, as well as Black Sticks Facebook and YouTube. Game 4 tomorrow, finale. Of course, this is all part of New Zealand's preparations, the Vantage Black Sticks preparations for their Olympic qualifying series against South Korea, first weekend of November. Very valuable opposition playing a side like Japan, and they've played often over this period since the Rio Olympics, both in New Zealand and over in Japan. Japan, of course, qualifying as hosts, but very similar opponent to South Korea, which will be very handy for Darren Smith and the Black Sticks coaching staff as they look to prepare for that series. But similar to what they will face, as Tarrant comes it off that right flank and then into the midfield and back to McAleese. McAleese over to Woods. Woods are now out to this left-hand side where Lett is now roaming after being on the right flank earlier in the quarter. Trying to find a New Zealand stick on the baseline. Not quite able to control it was Jenis. Unfortunately, a good little passage of play as we see young Thomas into the game. Dylan Thomas, just his 18th cap for New Zealand tonight. But one of the up-and-coming players in this New Zealand squad. A good national forward, NHL. Central. Now looking to do it international level. Is well cut out by Japan as they quickly break now inside the New Zealand 25. That's an important interception by Woods. And lovely control to quickly now turn that into a New Zealand attack. Marcus Child to his brother Simon Child. Back to Woods. Woods has a bit of space down this left-hand side, working towards that left corner pocket. He's back to Woods. Getting more and more touches on the ball. Now Panchia. Aaron Panchia. Now back.
I think that was Jared.
It was Jared, excuse me. And now into this right-hand corner. And Russell was operating, so Kane Russell, who was so successful in game 2. 4 goals he had in that 6-3 win. 2 from penalty corners, a penalty stroke and a field goal. Playing on here, a Japanese player hit by that ball. He's limping. There's number 21, Wakuri, who is the man of the match in game one, their 2-1 win on Thursday night, Hirotaka Wakuri. Yeah, they don't get any easier to deal with, do they, Chris, when you're clattered with the ball?
No, it was probably a bit tactical too, and just needed a little break to re-get the defence in control. You know, with 1 minute left on the clock, it's not the time you want to give away a corner.
Yeah, certainly when New Zealand's just looking to break forward as well. I think you could certainly, fair enough to take a break when you're with a ball like that, but a good chance for Japan to reset here to make sure it remains scoreless going into quarter time. Good ball coming in from New Zealand, a dangerous one, but no New Zealand sticks in the area at that back post, so Japan have a bit of time to make their way to the sideline. Then we'll go the overhead, now taken down very well by Wakuri. He now makes his way over halfway. He's had a couple of good breaks in this game so far. He's showing how influential he can be. Now he's making his way onto this New Zealand circle. Well done. That was just a solo one run by Wakuri. Had some good runners off the ball, opening up space, and then drawing, I think, the foot of the New Zealand captain, Blair Tarrant. Expertly done.
Yeah, he really backed himself, didn't he, to take them on. And with 18 seconds on the clock, we didn't want to give away a corner at that stage.
Yeah, the clock, of course, stops for the penalty corners as well, so it could be a goal right on quarter time here for Japan. They've had 2 opportunities already in this game. This will be their third.
It's interesting for the amount of possession New Zealand's had. They actually haven't created the opportunities they would have liked.
No, early on a number of circle penetrations, but since then really dried up. And Japan on the break, looking dangerous. Now they have a third PC. What can they come up with this time? This time going towards that near post, well blocked by New Zealand. They're going to say off the foot though. Thought that Bennett thought rather that he controlled that cleanly. That's not what the umpire says.
No, he's shaking his head. He certainly doesn't agree.
Yeah, David Tomlinson, the umpire on that occasion, saying, no, I don't believe you trapped that cleanly. And so it'll be another penalty corner. So as was the case with the first lot of penalty corners, back-to-back PCs. This one to again be taken by Oshai. Number 6 for Japan. And the same penalty, this one going high and comfortable height for the keeper. Joyce didn't even really have to move, just chucked the glove side up, knocked it away, and that is quarter time as we see a replay of this one coming in, and yeah, comfortable, pretty much right at the body of Richard Joyce, the New Zealand goalkeeper. That one coming in from Shota Yamada of Japan. So despite 4 penalty corners in that opening period, it is still scoreless between the Vantage Black Sticks from New Zealand and Samurai Japan in Game 3 of this TSB Community Trust Series. And as you touched on just there, Christian, New Zealand started brightly, looked like they might be having their way with the game, but Japan have fought back very well and defensively looked organised, as they always are, and on the break looking dangerous.
Yeah, they have. I think, when they get the ball, they go forward at pace, and they've been able to rip us apart. So, we have to be a bit careful back there. I'd really like us to do more at the other end and create a few corners, get some feet, look for what they're doing in there instead of we're giving away a little bit too much.
Kane Russell was one of those who started brightly, but we didn't see too much of him on the turf. He was off for a while. I suppose this is all part of preparation for Olympic qualifying series, a bit of experimentation and players playing different positions as well?
Well, absolutely. It's not about these games. It's actually about Korea. So everything they'll be doing is in preparation for Korea. But they'll still be wanting to put it together and get their combinations working. They'll be wanting to create things when they hit over that 25.
As we see Dean Cousins there with the earpiece, one of those players in the 300 game club for New Zealand, former New Zealand captain, of course, went to multiple Olympics himself, knows how to get to an Olympic Games, and hoping to help out in a coaching managerial role as well for this Vantage New Zealand Black Sticks.
Dean will be certainly sorting out the defence and making sure they're pretty safe back there.
As we're almost ready to get back underway. Very short turnarounds in top level hockey. It's been quarter to quarter. Don't mess around. New Zealand will again get us back underway. Ball at Simon Child's stick. Goes to Nick Woods, who comes to Kane Russell, who got a lot of pace and a really talented player. And as he showed a full set of his skills on Saturday with 4 goals. Now Muir working back to Lett. Now Woods. Now over to this right-hand side where Russell looks down that touchline. Well cut out by the captain for Japan, Mitani. And now Japan look to quickly break. And they pour some numbers forward. And this is where they've been dangerous. And they've been able to dribble at some of the New Zealand players. That ball coming in, trying to get a touch. Couldn't quite get that deflection in front of goal. But again, a warning shot for New Zealand.
A great option.
It was a great run by the Japanese player. Couldn't quite get there, but certainly wasn't far away as that fizz past the goal of Richard Joyce. A nice little turn there from New Zealand in the middle of the park. 3 players all around him and managed to find the ball to Russell, but then Russell unable to link up with Jenis. And now Japan go back with it. They're prepared to play a patient game. The New Zealand press gave them a bit of troubles early on, but since then they've looked a bit more comfortable with it. Now, soft foul given away. Free hit earned by the skipper, Mitani. Japan will now come with the overhead, looking down that touchline. Well taken down again. Now, chance to switch play. And you've seen that Japanese style evolve as well. Dutch coach now, and they've really improved the last few years, of course. This is a home Olympics for them.
Yes, they
want to be competitive.
I love the way they bring numbers forward when they do go for attack. They certainly bring the overlap from out of defence and come with pace.
Yeah, certainly do. As you can probably tell, it has been raining a bit here at Stratford, but it's dry now. Good conditions for hockey. And good conditions for the fans here in attendance as well at the TET Multisport Centre in Stratford. Taranaki, where we will be having the Olympic qualifying series. 2 matches against South Korea. The winner of that series goes to the Tokyo Olympics, so a change in the Olympic qualifying structure for hockey this cycle. So it's not a big qualifying tournament. It was just drawn out of a hat, the top remaining nations that hadn't.
That's a good ball that he's good receive and go forward with it.
Qualified as Simon Child there, and then unfortunately didn't have the communication lines quite working there. As they thought he was having a runner coming down that right flank, it didn't come, and Simon Child says, "Bring me off then." As Dylan Thomas enters the fray. Now Japan back with it, willing to be patient. And deep inside their half as well, which means they've got lots of space. Players to come into, they're not just all inside the half of New Zealand and the crossing halfway. And now New Zealand with a wayward ball by Japan. Quickly come down the other end. And that ball tried to be flicked in that time by Jared Panchia. I thought he maybe found a foot of a Japanese player. New Zealand, though, still with it, so no penalty corner after that circle penetration, but New Zealand looking to get back inside that danger area. Woods, what can he come up with? Player with great vision for New Zealand, coming into this pocket, and that one just going over the touchline. I don't think Dane Lett, the player there, wasn't quite able to keep it in, so that's disappointing. That attack comes to nothing. And Japan will again to try and clear their lines. And prepared to go away all the way back to their own baseline inside the circle. Still scoreless here at TET Multisports Centre between the Vantage New Zealand Black Six and Samurai Japan. Japan, though, have had 4 penalty corners to New Zealand's 0. They've had their opportunities. New Zealand have had a few circle penetrations without being able to threaten the goal yet of Japan. So Darren Smith, the New Zealand coach, will want to see an improvement here. Of course, they scored 6 of them in their Game 2 win on Saturday. As Lett finds a bit of space, but then he gives up the free hit. And that might have been for shielding, perhaps, was it? Or
It could have been.
Hard to see exactly what that was for in that far touchline. A couple of errors from Lett down that that side. We've seen him come over on this right-hand side as well, which I think he may be making his way towards, unless he's coming off the field, which is another option as well. Aaron Panchiak giving it away in the midfield there. Now Japan will look to pour numbers forward. Two of the good players there trying to link up. Former skipper, and may well be skipper for the Tokyo Olympics, and Yamashita. And then also the very impressive Wakuri, who's had his moments in this game, like he did in game 1 when he was named man of the match. Nice little turn there by Japan, but then well cut out by Jenis, I think it is, coming back and doing his defensive work as well.
I do like the way the Japanese midfield receive and look to their goal, whereas often we're receiving with our back to the goal and come back, so we're a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, very willing to run at the players, aren't they, as well, with the Japanese, and dribble at the New Zealand defenders.
Oh, there's some good work.
Yeah, now we see a bit of that. Jenis had 4 players around him, and he managed to earn the free hit. That's
got a great ball through to Brad Reid.
Yeah, Reid then finds a teammate as well who earns a free hit on the edge of the circle. So Reid, nice little moment for him as he's brought into the game as well. And, going over the baseline though, and just to be off a New Zealand stick, so Japan can clear. So disappointing for New Zealand that came to nothing as well. Not quite able to find that last pass in the circle as of yet, New Zealand.
No, the Japanese are very composed back there, so they're not making it easy.
Woods unable to bring that under control, so Japan take the free hit quickly. Switch the play over to this right-hand side, pavilion end of turf here. See where our commentary position above the dugouts on this near side. As Japan, again, patient. Willing to build up from deep inside their area, wait for the right pass, and then when that opening creates, that's when they come with a lot of pace. They can quickly change, it seems, from first to fifth gear in a blink of an eye. And now, almost a moment there for Japan, not quite coming what they wanted to, so they come back again. They're willing to take that time. They've earned a bit of territory here though now, so they're able to try and work their way into that left-hand pocket as they see it. That pass was not able to find its mark. The intended target was Watanabe, number 31. Japan though, another cutout, this time by Fujishima, 14. And finding Hoshi, number 8, now coming across to this right-hand side. And then back again, Japan. As they just go from side to side, changing the point of attack. Where's an opening? Where's a little weak link in this New Zealand defence? Thought it was down that New Zealand left, the Japanese right, but then quickly found his way going down a cul-de-sac, so he turned around. And now going with the overhead option, well taken down, great control. Now trying to find a nice little inter-player passing, but that one not finding the mark. And New Zealand a chance to clear.
Yeah, New Zealand defence are holding strong. They'd be quite happy with those balls going over the back line.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like they were even starting to maybe frustrate the Japanese a bit there as Japan went from side to side. Now Thomas looking to find the front runner of Simon Child, but again, there's too much on that, asking maybe Simon Child of 16 rather than Simon Child after a big hip injury. Asking a bit too much of the veteran.
I think it was quite a hopeful ball for anyone.
Simon Child leading that New Zealand line at the moment. Oh, and that's dangerous right in front of
steal.
Simon Child. Opportunity for Child in front of goal. He's brought down, is he? Wow, he tried to earn a penalty corner, but in the end, you're going to say, well defended by Japan. That was dangerous inside their circle.
Yep.
You see a replay of this, and
It was a great tackle.
getting his body in the way is Ohashi, number 20, Masaki Ohashi. And it had to be made. Otherwise, Simon Child can be deadly in front of goal. It's good.
That was a great bit of hustle and pressure that he put on him to get position.
Yeah, great interception the first time round by Simon Child, but and then Japan able to scramble to deny that New Zealand breakthrough. It's well cut out again, this time by Marcus Child, the younger brother. Now McAleese, game number 301, finds Simon Child. Child out to this left-hand side, reversed it, coming across goal. Great ball, no New Zealand stick on the end of it. Wow. There was a player in the vicinity, but not quite able to get to it. It's the right idea as we see a replay here. Simon Child finding the open man. Reversed it coming from Janice. Oh, and I think Child actually got a touch, did he?
Or was it I think someone got a touch. It may have actually been the Japanese player.
Yeah, no player gambling on the back post for New Zealand. And so it went safely away, but not far away, New Zealand. That's a good sign for them. They'll be happy with that. Simon Child getting more and more present in this game.
Yeah, he's very good at trying to isolate a defender and then knowing when to put pressure on.
Now, back at the stick of McAleese. I mentioned celebrated his 300th game at the weekend. 6-3 victory in the second test of the TSB Community Trust Series. Now McAleese with the overhead.
Oh, nice ball. Lovely. Well taken down from Simon.
Yeah, showing his class there, Simon Child, but then giving up possession. He thought maybe he should have been given a free hit. Wasn't to be. Umpire's way of play. Oh, and now this is where Japan can be very dangerous as they make their way just onto the edge of the circle. Timely interception. I think that was McAleese. That had to be made as well because he was going to try and get a shot on goal, and there were Japanese players advanced in front of the goalkeeper, Richard Joyce. Now Edwards looking to Janice.
Nice work. That's got to be a penalty corner there.
Lovely swerve and inside that was. Well, great work done there. I think it might have been Dylan Thomas actually. Stephen Janice. Looks similar running styles between the two, but certainly was Dylan Thomas. A taller figure, youngster. And game just number 17 or 18 now for New Zealand. And that's lovely work.
Yeah,
just
body checked.
Yeah. And there was really nothing Yamada could do. He fooled him, thought he was going to go to Yamada's left. He went to Yamada's right. And the body check results in the penalty corner. So Janice to take for New Zealand. Their first penalty corner of the game. 2.5 minutes remaining in the second period. What can New Zealand come up with? Well, he's going to try and dribble his way through was Kane Russell. I don't know if that was pre-planned. Didn't quite get the trap he wanted at the top of the circle to get the strike on goal. So he tried to dribble through and Japan able to defend it. Well, we saw him score a couple of penalty corners in game 2, but Japan defending the first one, and it looked like it just wasn't clean at the top of the circle.
No, it wasn't clean, so he had no other choice really. He had to make something of it, and he nearly did, but Japan
he managed to get through a couple of Japanese players, but then the door was swiftly shut.
There's a good little 1-2, creating some momentum forward.
Yeah, Woods decides to now move over this right-hand side, but McAleese doesn't look what he looks down that side, so they're going to come back over towards this left-hand side, see if they can find something in this pocket. It's well defended by Japan. They come up with the interception, and now earning a free hit and a chance to pour some numbers forward. So it's been a good little spell by New Zealand, but Japan have managed to stay with the score still deadlocked at 0-0. They'll be happy with that, and they'll want to hold on here to the half, but as we saw in the first quarter, they were able to earn themselves a couple of penalty corners late in the first 15 minutes, so they won't stop attacking here. They won't want to settle for the draw at the half.
We haven't seen Blair Tarrant on for a while. I wonder whether he's got injured, because I see McAleese is now wearing the captain's band.
No, very well picked up, Chris Arthur. Very true, we have not seen Tarrant, maybe not even this period, maybe early on in the quarter.
It's been a while.
So we'll look out for the figure of New Zealand captain number 22, Blair Tarrant, see if he does get back on the field. But yeah, McAleese is wearing the captain's armband, number 25. Veteran defender for this New Zealand side. Now a bit of space up on this left-hand side for Japan as they try and find one little opening in this final few seconds before the half, but New Zealand have other ideas. Can they quickly break? They've got 10 seconds to get inside the circle.
Great
and if
steal.
anyone can get there, it's Kane Russell. He comes up with a second steal, finds Dylan Thomas. Thomas will try and find the centering ball, and it comes off Thomas's foot and over the baseline, and that'll be it for the half. 0-0 it is between the Vantage New Zealand Black Sticks and Samurai Japan. But Chris Arthur, we've seen a fair amount of opportunities for both sides. 4 penalty corners for New Zealand, 4 penalty corners for Japan, one to New Zealand. Opportunities and a bit of a surprise it's scoreless at the moment.
Yeah, it has been end-to-end hockey, but I think New Zealand will be a little bit disappointed. They haven't made more of the ball that they've had. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in this next half.
We'll take a break here now at the TET Multi-Sport Centre in Stratford, Taranaki, and be back with all the second half action.
They say that the future of humanity is virtual, a place where our personalities are uploaded, and every moment of our life is played out in cyberspace. But what do they know? Ford Mustang. The future belongs to those who build it.
Coverage of the TSB Community Trust Series is proudly brought to you by Vantage Windows and Doors, principal partner of Hockey New Zealand, Computer Concepts Limited, Ford New Zealand, Lotto Sports, and Hockey New Zealand. Live from Stratford, it's the Vantage Black Sticks versus Japan.
Welcome back to the TET Multi-Sport Centre in Stratford, Taranaki, as we get ready for second half action between the Vantage New Zealand Black Sticks and Samurai Japan. It is scoreless at the half, no goals in either the first or second quarters. I'm Brenton Vanessa-Roy. I'll have the remainder of the call for you. With me in commentary is former Black Stick Chris Arthur. And Chris, there were opportunities for both sides, and I suppose who would be the happier of the coaches, you think, at the halftime break?
Yeah, good call. Well, neither of them will be that happy, not putting the ball in the back of the net, but I think that Darren will be telling the boys that they've got to link in that final 25. They've got to try and create a few more corners, because we know we've got some drag flickers that can make an impact.
Oh, look at that. We can see the beautiful Mount Taranaki as well. Couldn't see it earlier from Stratford, but we can. A good chance to go down to our sideline eye and Will Johnston.
Thanks very much, Brenton. Here with Technical Officer Gavin Hawke, who is working on this match. I was going to say, Gavin, you'd be stuck in the dugout out of the conditions, but you're actually roaming up and down the sideline. So what is your role?
Well, really, as a technical official, it's just to make sure that the game runs technically correct. And the reason I wasn't in the dugout was purely weather dependent, and the weather, because the rain stopped just before the game started, so that was good. Yeah, we look here. We just make sure that the game starts on time. We make sure it works well with you guys, with the broadcasters, with the locals, with the any other things that we need to celebrate or make apparent in the game. But also, most importantly, just make sure the goal scorers, any suspensions, which we haven't had. We haven't had too many of those in the series, in fact, which is good. And just keep a good record of everything as the match continues and the series.
So you're dealing with a lot of people as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we have a nice technical bench, but we've also got both teams. And of course, as you see with the interchanges, it's always a frenetic time, especially in that first quarter, where the teams tend to rotate through everybody except for the goalkeepers. But yeah, there's never really a quiet moment, or when there is one, you just get ready for that something to change, because a goal will change everything in a game of hockey.
Yeah, you're a busy man. Do you actually get a chance to watch the hockey at all?
We promote this sort of role as the best seat in the house. Yeah, you do get to see a lot of the hockey, but you get involved with everything else that's going behind it, which is quite exciting. And there's some great people involved in the sport.
Outstanding.
So,
hey,
yeah.
Thanks very much for your time. Really do appreciate it. I know it's half time, but yeah, hopefully don't have too much of a busy last two quarters with a few sin bins potentially not.
I hope not.
That's
All
right.
Thank you.
That's right. That was technical official Gavin Hawke giving a little bit of an insight in terms of what his role actually is. Still no score here at the TT Multi-Sports Centre in Stratford. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Will Johnson, our sideline eye there. It's great to get that bit of an insight into some of the other officials that make these games possible. This, of course, Game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series between New Zealand and Japan. The series level at 1 apiece. This game at the moment level at 0-all. Still 30 minutes of second half action to come. This Game 3 brought to us by the Stratford Business Association, who also will be handing out the man of the match at the end of this game, which will obviously have interviews with both sides and also the man of the match. So stay with us over the next 40 minutes or so here at the TT Multi-Sport Centre in Stratford, Taranaki. It's beautiful conditions for hockey, rain falling before the game. It cleared pretty much right in time for the Anthems, and it certainly has played no part at all, has it, Chris, in the game tonight?
Not at all. In fact, it's beautiful conditions to be playing out there under the lights with no rain, and yep, I'm looking forward to a really good second half.
As we mentioned earlier in the game, and for those who are just joining us, Chris, born and bred in Stratford. I know you don't live here now, but it must be pretty special to have, such big games like this, and especially the Olympic qualifiers happening in your old hometown.
Absolutely, absolutely. My mother was a city councillor or local district that was partly responsible for the turf being put here, so she'd be very proud if she was alive today.
Yeah, very special having these 4 games here in Stratford, and those 2 big games to come the first weekend of November, so just over 2.5 weeks away now. The Vantage New Zealand Black Sticks up against South Korea. 2 games to decide who goes to next year's Tokyo Olympics. Of course, Japan as hosts. They're already there. They're really fine-tuning now for the games, working on selections, possibly who will be in that final squad for the Tokyo Games. And as you see, the Japanese players coming back out into the field, led by their Dutch coach.
And the Japanese have just got better and better over the last few years. You really see them stepping up, and you know what sort of a proud nation they are. You see that with the rugby, and they're producing some good hockey.
Yeah, they saw that at the Asian Games as well this year. They are now amongst the very best in Asia. As we'll see a few changes, I think, as well for both sides. The Japanese look like they might switch things up in goal. Got the insight there from our sideline eye, Will. Got the Goss from the bench. And so we'll bring you any changes that come out, and also keep you up to date with Blair Tarrant, the New Zealand captain, because as Chris Arthur picked up, we didn't see too much of him towards that second quarter. He's sitting down there, isn't he?
Sitting down, yes, he is.
So he's got his jacket on. I don't know if that suggests he's going to be back out there, or whether it suggests he's done for the night. We will keep you up to date with that one.
Well, let's hope it's nothing major anyway.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. No Hugo Inglis at all in the series, making sure that he's right for the all-important Olympic qualifying series against South Korea, such a key player for New Zealand. He had a bit of a back problem after coming back from Europe, and when you have those after a long flight, you've got to make sure you're 100% right to go.
Actually, it looks like New Zealand have had a change of goalkeeper too. Maybe George Innocent has gone on.
Yeah, we'll see if we can see that one as well. Yeah, just look behind you and try and crick your neck round the corner, Chris. See if you can spot the figure of George Innocent.
I think he is.
So number 15 rather than number 8, Richard Joyce, who started the game for New Zealand. And they did that in the second game as well. Changed the 2 goalkeepers, half each. So Leon Hayward it was who...
Look at that beautiful mountain.
Oh, just the cloud just sitting at the top of it. Yeah, couldn't see it when we first arrived 3 hours or so ago. Now looking resplendent as it does. Beautiful sight in the Taranaki. And it's great that it has cleared. But not just the players, but the fans alike, as we're back underway. Second half action, third quarter of this TSB Community Trust Series Game 3.
Nice reach.
It's Steve Edwards, one of those players turning for New Zealand after a long absence. Hadn't sighted him in the New Zealand colours since 2015, so before the Tokyo Olympics. Simon Child playing back for New Zealand for the first time since Rio, 2016 Olympics. Bad hip injury for him. And great to see those players back, and great dose of experience for this New Zealand side. There's rather audacious looking ball, a reverse stick high up to that right hand pocket, and New Zealand unable to control, and Japan will have it back.
It was unfortunate because Sam Lane was in good position.
Yeah, certainly the idea was right, just not quite the execution that time from New Zealand. Now Japan, as we saw so often in the first half, if New Zealand aren't going to press all the way inside their 25-yard zone, they're happy to just play with it from side to side. New Zealand now coming with a bit more of a press as Japan advance slightly out of their
Just keeping it
25.
on one side of the field is the plan.
Yeah, well cut out by New Zealand, so that press comes up well as Edwards with the cutout. Now Lane on this right-hand side, working to the baseline. Edwards couldn't keep it in. Oh, it did go over the baseline. So, says the umpire, David Tomlinson, along with Hideki Kinoshita, the umpires this evening. Japan now look to work their way over halfway. New Zealand bringing all their numbers back to defend. Japan with all their numbers pretty much apart from their goalkeeper inside the New Zealand half. At the stick of their captain, Inki Mitani.
The New Zealand defence just keeping their structure. They'll be quite happy with them passing it around, and then when they separate the backs, then they'll press.
Japan forced back towards their 25. It's good work by New Zealand. Jenis with a good trap there to intercept that one.
Yeah, Steve's a very dangerous player with the ball in front of the stick, in front of the goal as well. If they can find him up there, he's lethal.
Yeah, absolutely he is. He gets inside that circle. Has had few opportunities. He's had some great moments with the ball on his stick. That was an important interception.
The first touch for George Innocent.
Yeah,
In the game.
Yeah. So there has been a change in the New Zealand goal. Innocent in for Joyce. Collision there and tangle of sticks. The Japanese player are quite unsure. Fujishima, why that went New Zealand's way. That's how the umpires have called it, and Let gets us quickly back underway. Switching play from that left-hand side to the right. Back to McAleese. Now Woods. To McAleese. Back to Woods again.
Yep. There's no real movement to post back for them, is there? So they don't have many options going forward at the moment.
Yeah, frustrated there, New Zealand, like wanting a bit more from teammates. Now Bennett getting involved, and he goes back to Woods. You can hear all the commands being yelled out from the benches as well. Wanting probably just that, a bit more movement from New Zealand's midfield and strikers, trying to give the defenders some options.
It's a nice little pop ball, and again.
Yeah, finding a bit of space and maybe a bit fortuitously finding the stick of Simon Child. He did very well to control it. Now on this baseline is Marcus Child trying to find a foot. Came off a Japanese player. It'll be a long corner to New Zealand. And now back to Woods, but they're in a far better position territory-wise. There's space to work in. There's now, I think you saw the captain's armband around Panchia as well now. So another player who's led New Zealand.
Oh, that's a lovely ball.
And now just trying to get an option for a reverse stick. It's Stephen Jennis
yes.
turning inside the circle. This is where he can be so dangerous. Wow.
I thought he'd found a foot there, but...
Yeah, the umpire, I think, was blindsided from that. Couldn't see it. Jennis certainly was convinced he had found a foot. Yep. And now they have found one. So maybe that's a bit of a make-up call from the umpire.
Nice work from Simon Childs there to put it on a foot.
Simon Child working baseline there and did find the foot. That was executed wonderfully. And it's that man again, number 14, Fujishima. Reiki Fujishima giving up away the penalty corner. So New Zealand have their second PC of the game. Unsuccessful with their first, obviously. Still scoreless. Japan have had 4 penalty corners. Again, none executed. Jennis will again take for New Zealand.
We've got both Kane and Nick Woods up there, so one of them will no doubt drag.
Can they get the track clean at the top of the circle this time? Yes, it is. And it comes from Russell, I think it was. Well defended by Japan. But New Zealand still an opportunity here. Good ball across goal, but it's not unable to find a New Zealand stick.
Jared must have been close.
We see a replay of this one. So this time the control at the top of the circle was good, and it came in a good glove save, and that's a great replay we saw there. The Japanese goalkeeper who's come into the game as well. So they made a change in goal. So Takashi Yoshikawa has come into the goal for Yusuke Takano. So both sides making change in goal at the half. And the Japanese goalkeeper in the first half didn't have to make a save.
Did he not? Didn't touch it?
I don't think he did. Not that I can recall anyway. Maybe one. We might have to go through the memory banks. New Zealand had a few circle penetrations but didn't get a shot on goal from memory. There's a few good last-ditch interceptions by Japanese players.
I think you're right.
And so that's the first real shot on goal, and a relatively comfortable one for the goalkeeper, Yoshikawa. But New Zealand getting closer, that time from a penalty corner. Russell went up the middle that time, so you obviously want to try and go for one of the corners, and that was a good comfortable height to save as well for the keeper. Not having to get down. There's McAleese back with it to Woods. It was one of the options for New Zealand at their last penalty corner, but Russell scored a couple at the weekend, took charge as part of his 4-goal haul.
That's a lovely ball that he popped through.
Yeah, just as the door was starting to get shut on him, we had 3 players starting to close in, found the right pass to Panchia, and now New Zealand can come forward. And it's good work there by Jared Panchia, number 14, who was the recipient of that pass from Woods. And New Zealand now inside the circle. Unable to find that foot, though, they were looking for. And Japan do well to defend that. I must say, when New Zealand have had the circle penetrations, more often than not, Japan have managed to defend it and avoid those foots.
The Japanese defence is pretty solid, isn't it? Here we go.
Yeah, now inside the circle again, options. Japan surrounding the players. Reverse stick coming in from Simon Child. I think kick saved by the keeper. And there was an opportunity for New Zealand, but pressure not off Japan here. As they look to get inside the circle. Japan missed trap, but then they've still got it somehow. Almost trapped underneath the stick. Japanese player did very well there.
And a very quick outlet to get them back on attack.
Yeah, quickly relieving the pressure, isn't it? Japanese side do very well there, and you can see a bit of a head into the air from Simon Child. I thought perhaps he could have done a bit better with that one, but...
Oh, I don't know. I think he got a pretty good shot away when he was facing the wrong way, and it wasn't an easy ball.
Oh, it certainly wasn't. I think it'd be hard on himself. It looked like he was being hard on himself as New Zealand now Paul Plumbers forward, reverse stick opportunity. No, wide. I think it came off the goalkeeper, though. No, they're just saying wide. As this is Dylan Thomas coming forward. Reverse stick opportunity.
I do think it might have got off the Japanese stick.
I think so too. It looked like it did come off the Japanese stick. Yeah, good replay there from our team here. Stream shot, but certainly that should have been New Zealand's ball, but wasn't given. Umpire again, David Tomlinson saying came off straight off the New Zealand stick of Thomas. Unlucky for New Zealand as we're fast approaching three-quarter time. This match just flying by.
Yeah,
haven't seen goals yet, but we've seen a lot of end-to-end high-quality hockey. This time, Innocent doesn't want a bar of it inside the circle. Kicks it away. There's a nice little run down that touch line. The centering ball mistrapped by New Zealand. Tried to trap it on the edge of the circle, and Innocent is saying, this is how you get rid of it. Now New Zealand looking to get their way out of a few difficult areas. Jenis was at 3 players around him, did very well to get the ball back, and then gave up the free hit. He was in a very tricky position there. Didn't have a black shirt around him.
I think it was Steve Edwards, actually, not.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. Number 33 for New Zealand, Steve Edwards. Got in a bit of trouble on that flank. Now, McAleese. Working through the midfield. Woods. Back to this right-hand side to McAleese. He's looking for that opening again. Now Bennett will go with the overhead. Cut out partially by Japan. Danger not cleared, though, by the Japanese. And now New Zealand have it. Now it is Jenis making his way inside. Finding Lett. He earns a free hit. Quickly plays on. Lett will try and drive this one inside the circle. But there wasn't really any New Zealand players in the vicinity there. Not quite finding the intended target. And were players in the circle, just not where Lett's ball went.
No, I think he got pulled for not taking it 5 before he went in the circle. So they probably weren't busting a gut to get it.
Well picked up. Now Japan unable to get out of their own area. They're coughing up possession. Yeah. Tempo called from the bench below us in the dugouts. Young coaching staff wanting players to play with more speed. That's exactly what they try to do there as they try to find Edwards. McAleese back to Edwards on this baseline. That's where he can be dangerous. A good creative player is Steve Edwards. That one not finding New Zealand stick though. Japan able to come up with it, but really struggling now, Japan, to get out of their own area. New Zealand harass, and again, good press once more from New Zealand. 3 New Zealand players in the area and just didn't let Japan away from that sideline. And all they could do in the end is go out. Bennett, last man back for New Zealand, comes over this left side where Kane Russell is now operating. So often see him on the right-hand flank, now on the left. Yeah, it looked very promising, didn't it?
It did.
Didn't operate how it wanted to in the end between, I think, Edwards and Russell that time. Now Japan look to come out to this right-hand side, just where New Zealand were attacking previously. Their left, of course. Now a ball just trying to find the trailing runner from Japan, but well read by Kane Russell. And then Simon Child with an uncharacteristic mistake as he was unable to bring that pass under control.
I do like the way Kane comes out at pace and always looks to attack when he gets that ball.
Yeah, it certainly looks to break quickly, doesn't he? When he comes up with those interceptions, and he reads them so well, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
There's a card, I think, for
Dylan
Thomas.
Thomas.
So, the youngster, 18 games for New Zealand now. As Russell looked slightly out of control as he dribbled that one out of his own area, but thankfully just kept on the end of his stick. And now back of the Japanese possession. Japan still looking for that opening. The game's still looking for an opening. Japan looking to work baseline. And unable to come up with the telling ball that time. They looked dangerous though for a moment as they managed to make their way into the circle. Just not quite able to control it. Baseline that time was Kato Osei, rather.
We're down to the last minute of this quarter and still 0-0. So
big surprise after 9 goals on Saturday. The series just throws up surprises, didn't it? Japan winning the opener and then New Zealand bouncing back with a 6-3 win and now scoreless. As we quickly approach three-quarter time, New Zealand will look to try and launch one more attacking raid. McAleese with it. Where's his runners, he says. So he goes back. Bennett. McAleese. Back to Bennett. Here's a bit of space, but then that quickly closes down. Let. Now working on the side of Woods, and that was always an optimistic ball. Didn't really have much room to work with. It went out, and now Japan, one last little effort. That's the hooter. So three-quarter time here in Game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series, brought to us by the Stratford Business Association here in Taranaki. Is New Zealand Vantage Blacksticks 0, Samurai Japan 0, and it didn't quite have as many opportunities. It seemed like the pace, I don't know if it came off the game a bit in that quarter.
Yeah, it did seem to drop off, didn't it? There wasn't the same intensity and there wasn't the real go-forward ball that we had in the first, certainly in the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't know if that was changes from New Zealand defensively. So we saw Japan in the first half play with a vast quick break and bit more pace to their game. We didn't really see them get those opportunities, and New Zealand likewise didn't quite have the tempo in their game either.
No, I think we're going to have to really get the ball into that midfield and look to do some 1-2s to move it through there quickly.
And there's a few orders being barked in the New Zealand huddle. A bit more circumspect in the Japanese huddle as well, as their Dutch coach conveys messages through the translator. New Zealand assistant coach, yeah, in discussions with the players. Rather animated it looks like as well. So certainly New Zealand wanting better.
Being an Australian striker, he'll want some go-forward ball, that's for sure, and he'll be demanding it.
Yeah, absolutely. As you saw David Tomlinson and Hideki Kaneshita as well. The officials getting a well-earned little breather as well. Talking over how things are going for them. They now approach the last 15 minutes here at the TT Multi-Sport Centre in Stratford, Taranaki. There's the crowd getting warmed up.
Yeah, so I wonder what the instruction is in terms of, we've got to remember we're preparing for Korea, so Darren will be wanting to, he would have had some plan that's more about Korea than winning today.
Yeah, it's interesting that Darren seemed to step back a bit. I think he didn't have the coaching reins for Game 2. It looks like he's maybe having a more observational role for this as well. Probably, no doubt, with an eye to South Korea too.
Yeah, having a look from up in the stand, you see get a different perspective and it allows him to have an overview.
Because those are the important games. Well, you want to win, of course, every game you represent your country. The two games that really matter for New Zealand in 2019 are coming up in 2.5 weeks' time here in Stratford, Taranaki, when the Vantage New Zealand Blacksticks take on South Korea over 2 matches. The winner goes to the Tokyo Olympics. The loser has to start looking for 2024. It's always very tough if you miss out on Olympic Games. It's a long way to the next one.
Yeah, well, we missed out in 88, and so there was only 2 of us left by the time we got to Barcelona from Los Angeles.
Yeah, Chris Arthur in commentary, former Blackstick. I worked out 86 games for New Zealand, not 85 as some have reported. Two-time Olympian in both LA and Barcelona. It's a great insight of what it means to go to an Olympic Games.
Here's Nick.
Qualify for one as New Zealand trying to do just that in a few weeks' time. Right now, it's trying to get their preparation right. And that's getting a good performance here in the last 13 and a half minutes against the Olympic hosts. Japan is good little lazy run by Woods.
Yes.
And quick pivot and turn. And shot across the bow of Japan. And that was lovely little interplay as Wood made his way in. And then the turn coming in from George Muir, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Muir.
Shot. Good first time shot.
And Japan were happy to see that one go past the goal. It came in with a lot of power, a lot of force behind that one from George Muir. Nice little interplay with him and also Nick Woods, who is the creator in that one. Nice little move from him to find a bit of space and to then find Muir. And Muir with the quick spin and hit.
Yeah, Nick Woods is very good on the ball. He's got great vision and he can find his players. So I really like it when he promotes through that midfield.
Yeah, he's a very deceptive kind of player, isn't it? Because he looks like a bigger frame. It looks like he wouldn't quite have those skills, and he can become deceptively quick as well when he wants to, and certainly can fool defenders.
You watch when he receives the ball. There's always about 3 Japanese around him. They show huge respect for his skills.
One of those players who's come back from overseas as well, playing over in Europe. I think it's 5 or 6 New Zealand players now at the moment playing over in Europe, of course, coming back for this series, and then the Olympic qualifiers that will follow in a couple of weeks' time, as New Zealand only clear towards their 25-yard line. Japan now will go back towards halfway and back towards their right-hand flank. And that was a bit of a wishful ball. I think came off at New Zealand's stick and then off a Japanese foot, so New Zealand earning the free hit. Quick overhead. Simon Child unable to bring it down, and then well beaten by the Japanese opposite, who makes some headway down this right-hand flank, but then turned over. Steve Edwards coming up with the intercept there for New Zealand, and now New Zealand look to attack. Lane now finding Russell. Russell coming down this right-hand flank, and he earns a penalty corner. Yeah, well, you've mentioned it, Chris Arthur, how much he loves breaking forward when he gets an opportunity. That time linking up with Sam Lane and earning New Zealand the penalty corner. As you see, a nice little stick work. Then he got checked by the opposition player. And that was a pretty simple decision by the umpires there. So New Zealand have their 3rd penalty corner now. And Kane Russell has been denied. First from a poor trap, and then the second time by the goalkeeper. In goal, it's the second half. Yoshikawa replacing Takano. As we see, one of the players were injured. And that's the very experienced figure in Manabu Yamashita. He's played 184 games for Japan. The usual skipper of this Japanese side. He's going to get some attention, I think. He doesn't look in a good way.
No, he looks a bit sore.
I don't know if that came with the collision with Russell or something else in back play. Certainly wouldn't have thought that would have. We'll see if we can catch this replay here. So Yamashita's not in the vicinity, but then he goes down afterwards. So not sure exactly what happened. So the actual current captain and Genki Mitani was in the vicinity, but not Yamashita. He's going to get attention while New Zealand go on with the penalty corner. Marcus Child this time will take. So Stephen Jennis took the first couple of PCs for New Zealand. What can Marcus Child do? As he takes, and this time going to Nick Woods. And Nick Woods with the great drag flick for New Zealand. And New Zealand draw first blood here in Stratford in Game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series. The Vantage Black Sticks leading Samurai Japan 1-0 as we see this one. So Russell was in the area as well, but this time it went to the back drag flicker in Nick Woods, and Nick Woods finished.
And a great goal.
Just what New Zealand wanted. This time they converted their PC. So everything worked to plan from the take, the trap at the top of the circle, and then finished well by Woods. And New Zealand in the 5th minute of this 4th and final period finally have that breakthrough, and the game has its first goal. Now Japan.
Oh, nice teamwork there.
Japan unable to break through New Zealand as they come up with the tackle, but then Janice loses it back, and Japan did very well there. Good stick work there by Ohashi. And now they break forward, looking for that long penetrating ball down that right-hand flank. Well cut out by New Zealand, but Japan able to bring all their numbers forward as they win the territory battle, but then they just lose it. It's only going to go for a long corner though, so must have come off a New Zealand stick. Just out of shot, so Japan back with it on that 25-yard line of New Zealand. Back to Ohashi. Ohashi with the penetrating ball. He was trying to find a teammate. That lead runner with the ball inside did well, but there was no Japanese player there. New Zealand players in the vicinity. They were able to get to it first, but now they're pinned inside this corner. And
nice
Russell does very well. Gets the ball at the end of his stick. Releases the pressure valve for New Zealand, at least momentarily, because Japan do very well to stop the break and then force the turnover. Now Japan on the edge of the circle, looking for that penetrating ball inside the danger zone for New Zealand. Can they hit straight back? It's been a while since they've had a penalty corner. They had back-to-back penalty corners in both the first and second periods. Unable to convert as the scoreline shows. Well defended by New Zealand on all 4 attempts. And now Japan just looking to peg themselves inside this New Zealand zone. Japan now going back inside their own half and unable to be controlled down that left-hand side. And it's just giving it away. Unfortunately, it's Fujisima down that left-hand side. Now New Zealand can't go into Japan's half. Release the pressure. Woods, the goal scorer for New Zealand. McAleese. Now let Panchia. Panchia looking for that forward run into that left-hand pocket. Not quite able to link up with the teammate. And Janice. Now Japan have it. Tie up of sticks. It goes Japan way, and then a New Zealand stick getting in there. I think it was unintentional, but it didn't look good because it tripped up the Japanese player. Let's see a replay of this one as I think Janice thought it was a New Zealand free hit.
Yes, yeah.
So went to take it quickly, and it was clearly for Japan. And so I think they've said their apologies. Japan play on. Now Japan looking forward. Nice little stick work, but New Zealand numbers in the area to clear any danger there.
Just a bit scrappy now. We need to get hold of the ball again.
It's a good period for Japan. They're dictating the play here. Still wanting those circle penetrations, the Japanese, but they're making it difficult for New Zealand to get out of their half since the goal. To Nick Woods. Now looking to get back towards that 25 of New Zealand. Panchia. Well cut out by Japan and kept on the edge of the stick, but he's in a difficult position, but manages to find the leg of Panchia. So keep the ball on the Japanese stick, getting a free hit. A pass to be brought back a mere inch by the looks of things. Player obliges, takes it. And now just looking for that cross into the box. There was very little room to work with. And now New Zealand look to clear with an overhead. That one's judged to be dangerous.
It was good getting it out of there. They were under a lot of pressure on that back line.
Yeah, it did its job, didn't it? Because that's to be taken from where the overhead landed. And that's right in halfway. And now Japan with an overhead of their own. Well taken down by New Zealand and McAleese. Japanese player couldn't get on the end of that one. Now McAleese earns a free hit. So time now fast running out for Japan. And this is game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series here in Stratford, Taranaki. There's New Zealand a chance to go 2-1 up in the 4-game series. Of course, the final game. Back here for you on Sky Sport 9 tomorrow night, along with Black Sticks Facebook and YouTube channels. And that was nice little bit of skill in the midfield, wasn't it?
Skill there from Marcus.
Bringing it down. And now, a bit of space down this right-hand side is there for New Zealand. Japan have numbers there. And pass finding that lead runner. And, of course, as always, it seems to be Jenis, the one who's giving an option up front for New Zealand.
He certainly is very good at posting up and coming back for that.
And Panchia going on a little mazy run, trying to find a foot. There's a free outside. Now, New Zealand look to reset, change the point of attack. And Japan pressing now because time's running out for them. They can't just give New Zealand possession. They need to take it back and try and equalise here. As Let will take this.
Just taking his time. He's not in any hurry.
There's the Thunder Six get going here at T Multi-Sports Centre.
I have to say I've been very impressed with the accuracy of their high ball tonight. It's been stick to stick, which is great to see.
Yeah, it's been a feature of their play for New Zealand, that's for sure. Right from the opening quarter, wasn't it? Where we saw it in the opening seconds. Overhead. Now Japan trying to defend deep inside their 25, and this is exactly where New Zealand will want them inside the defensive zone of Japan. They can't score from in here. And they'll just press, especially in these corners, make it very difficult for Japan to get that. That's a lovely little turn. Yeah. And then earning a free hit. So I'm just saying how difficult it is to get out of these areas, and he makes a fool of me. That was a lovely little turn.
It's good. New Zealand get possession back, and that's what they want at this stage of the game.
Yep, so the press still working for New Zealand. They got the desired result. Turning over possession inside the Japanese half. Now they're able to come back where they've got a bit of space inside their half. Let goes to Woods, now coming out this right-hand side with a driving ball, the edge of the circle. Trying to find one of those New Zealand strikers. It's cut out, but off a Japanese stick, so New Zealand back with it on the Japanese 25-yard. Now switching play is Edwards to Russell. Russell just cuts inside a couple of Japanese defenders, then tries to find a teammate at the back post. Comes free to Panchia. Now working inside the circle on the baseline there for New Zealand. And New Zealand trying to find a foot again. Unable to do so, but it remains New Zealand possession. And now we're less than 3 minutes remaining here. Game 3. Game 4 tomorrow night. Same time, 6:30 p.m. Make sure you're here for the series decider. That's what it will be, no matter the result here. And now, coming up over halfway, it's Let, and then breakdown in communication for New Zealand. Sloppy missed pass, and now Japan will look to break quickly. They have to. Time is running out for them. They can't dwell inside their half. They've got to play quickly, quick passes. Bit of space for the Japanese player to work it into on that right-hand side. Now the driving ball onto the edge of the circle. New Zealand win it momentarily, but then back to Japan. Good defending by Kane Russell. Bit of a dangerous high stick, though. Gives up the free hit. Now Japan with it. New Zealand player tumbles over and back play. I think that might have been Russell. Back to his feet. Now Japan with it in this right-hand pocket. Lovely stick work on the baseline. Did it go over the baseline? Child was appealing that it did. But play on. New Zealand managed to come up with it.
We've given it away.
And then back with it to Japan. And there was a player free at the back stick. Watanabe had an opportunity there. He was free. If he just managed to find Watanabe, that would have been... great chance here as New Zealand went to sleep for a moment as they turned over possession. Now Watanabe unable to get on the end of that one and send it goalward.
Yeah, he's unmarked right on the spot.
Yeah, it's because, of course, New Zealand gave the ball away in defence. Japanese player was free. So often where goals come from, and quick turnovers. That's when there's space available, and there was for Japan at that moment.
It's a lovely ball.
Is that going to be their final opportunity? Can New Zealand add a second here? As Thomas dribbling into the circle, tries to find a teammate, does, and they find a foot. Well done by Sam Lane, I think. Yeah, Thomas and then Lane combining. And so New Zealand earn another penalty corner, and done by two of the newer members of the team. So Thomas working baseline, finding Lane, and Lane had a couple of players around him but managed to find the foot of a Japanese player. And New Zealand have their fourth PC penalty corner in the final minute of this contest. It'll be Marcus Child to take again. New Zealand successful with their third penalty corner to Nick Woods. There's Nick Woods lining up in the battery this time. There's Kane Russell there. We'll wait and see. We'll see if the trap is clean. Here it comes now, backstick. Oh, and that's a goal this time to Sam Lane. So he won the penalty corner. He scores the penalty corner.
And what a great goal it was.
Sam Lane, who had a great goal scoring run during the Ford National Hockey League a couple of weeks ago for Canterbury. Now Sam Lane at the top of the circle, number 12, you can see here, well trapped by Steve Edwards, and Sam Lane going to that right-hand side of the keeper, and there was very little that Yoshikawa could do. And two penalty corner goals for New Zealand, 2-0. They lead Samurai Japan. As
very, very happy crowd celebrating the goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Good crowd in attendance here on a Monday night. Hopefully see them back here tomorrow evening as well. As time ticking down. Under a minute remaining. And Japan are in the right area of the pitch, but they don't have possession. And Edwards loves these kind of situations. That's a lovely little dribble. Picked his way through three Japanese players with relative ease. And then gives away possession though, so Japan with an opportunity. New Zealand quickly win it back. McAleese, now Woods. Another player very comfortable with the ball on his stick. Now back to Edwards. Japan though coming up with it. That was a pass back that went awry. That could have been dangerous for New Zealand. That's not where you want to be turning over the ball. Japan unable to capitalise, and that'll be it. So the Vantage New Zealand Black Sticks come out on top. 2-0 over Samurai Japan. Penalty corners goals to Nick Woods and Sam Lane, both coming in the final quarter after three scoreless periods. Japan had 4 penalty corners of their own, unable to convert, and that in the end is the tale of the game. Yes. New Zealand 2 from 4, Japan 0 from 4.
They certainly picked up the intensity though in that last quarter, and it's great to see when they've got that momentum going forward.
So stay with us here on Sky Sports 9, the Black Sticks Facebook page and our YouTube channel, as we'll have post-match to come from our sideline eye. Will Johnson will make his way down to the dugouts, and also have our Stratford Business Association Player of the Match as well will be awarded. And you'd have to think it would have to be one of the Black Sticks who have contributed to New Zealand going 2-1 up in this 4-game series now, as we see a chance to see a replay of those 2 goals. This first one, number 17, Nick Woods here with the drag flick. Again going to the right of the keeper, the stick side, which is the toughest side to keep, so to defend for a keeper. And it goes low, and in the corner is very tough. And now this one from Sam Lane. So from the top, and again going to that right-hand side of the keeper. And that one maybe just over the pad of the keeper, and Lane adding to New Zealand's tally. And that's where it finished, a goal in the final minutes of the game. And New Zealand The Vantage Black Sticks take down Samurai Japan 2-0 in Game 3 of the TSB Community Trust Series. And we have game from both camps. Now we saw after discussing it at three-quarter time that the pace maybe needed to increase. Chris, it did, didn't it? And so we saw an improvement. I suppose those led to the 2 penalty corners.
Yeah, they absolutely looked like they put more intensity into their game. They went forward with the pace, and it paid off for them. So, but they still stuck to a really tight defensive game as well. They didn't let much in that.
Yes, thanks very much. Down here at the presentation, we have got Matthew Dimmock from the Stratford Business Association. He will present the Man of the Match award to Serene Tanaka. Congratulations.
Congratulations again.
And just a quick word, it was a really, really good effort, wasn't it, today?
Today, not good defense. Into the not result.
That's right. You had plenty of opportunities, didn't you, but just couldn't quite capitalise?
Next match, more better. Try to more better.
That's right. Hey, thank you very much and well done. Excellent.
Well done.
We're just trying to get the captains of today as well. We've got Mr. Punch here. Good. Hey, thanks very much for your time. A really good effort from the Black Sticks, but the Japanese defence, I know it was 2-0, but in the opening 3 quarters it was very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, they defended their circle really well, and we knew after the other day that they were going to really improve that area. So, it took us a little while to break them down, but, we stuck to the game plan and managed to get a couple of goals towards the end.
Yeah, of course, Lane and Woods got the goals for New Zealand from the corners. Was that a focus heading into today?
Yeah, look, it's such an important part of international hockey these days. We really pride ourselves on our set piece, not only an attack but also defence. So it's good to get on the score sheet, and even more important moving towards tomorrow and then into Korea.
Yeah, back-to-back games as well. How does that affect the team?
Yeah, we're used to it. We're used to playing back-to-backs and having one day off. So, and it's really good preparation again for the Korea series. So, yeah, we'll be in the ice baths now and start looking at the video tonight and prepare for tomorrow.
Excellent, Aaron. Hey, thanks very much and congratulations on the win.
Thanks. Cheers.
Brilliant. Just got to bring in the Genki Matani. Hard luck today, but I was just saying to your man of the match that the defensive effort was really, really good.
Today match.
Yes.
We could even 3 quarter we could patient, and 4 quarter we some mistake and lose points from penalty corner. Tomorrow match.
Yeah, heading into tomorrow, what do you think the focus will be?
Tomorrow we must win. Thank you.
Excellent. Hey, thanks very much and commiserations.
Thank you.
And New Zealand win this match 2-2. Back upstairs to you guys.
Thank you very much, Will Johnston, our sideline eye with both captains and also the player of the match, who was Serene Tanaka. So after I said it's going to be a New Zealander, no, it was the Japanese, of course, was given the player of the game. But the result did not go their way. So it went New Zealand's way as they have a practice penalty shootout as well. Of course, these are all part of the aspects of a game as you look ahead to Olympic qualifying series against South Korea. But just your final thoughts, Chris Arthur, before we get ready for tomorrow night.
Well, I just think it's really impressive that we are seeing some outstanding international hockey here in Stratford, and I'd encourage everybody to come down and have a look, because these boys have got some great skill on show, and I'm really looking forward to the next game.
Well, on behalf of former Black Stick Chris Arthur and our sideline eye, I'm Will Johnston. I'm not Will Johnston. Will Johnston, the sideline eye. I'm Brenton Vanissora, wishing everyone a very good evening. We'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. for the 4th and final game of the TSB Community Trust Series between the Vantage Black Sticks and Samurai Japan.
Coverage of the TSB Community Trust Series is proudly brought to you by Vantage Windows and Doors, principal partner of Hockey New Zealand. Computer Concepts Limited. Ford New Zealand. Lotto Sports. And Hockey New Zealand. Stratford, it's the Vantage Black Sticks versus Japan.